let's say somebody launches a book, it doesn't become a bestseller. Does that mean their book failed?
Oh, absolutely not. No, I think that it's all about, number one, it's all about repurposing. It's all about doing the study. It's all about figuring out, like, why didn't it sell? What can you do to continue to make it sell, right? Do you rebrand it? Do you keep it the same and just add a different level of marketing to it? The truth of the matter is, my first book still sells to this day. I don't even look the same. Right? If you look at the cover, I'm obviously...
They'd be like, who's this guy?
They're like, who is this guy, right? Like, I don't even look the same. I didn't have a beard at the time. So, like, anybody who buys the book, I still sell a book that's 14 years old. Why? Because at the end of the day, the information is still good. The information is still valid. People still are getting results from the information. So it's really about how can you make yourself attractive to the audience that needs your information. And once you make them attractive, they're going to find your product or service. And that's what I do. Every single day I'm on Instagram. Every day I'm on YouTube. Every day I'm on LinkedIn. Every day I'm on any social media platform. I'm being introduced to somebody brand new who have never heard of me before. And when they're going to do their research and they're going to find me, they're probably going to start with whatever piques their interest.
Right.
And they're not going to look at the date. They're not going to say, well, I like this book, but it was written 14 years ago. Right? Because everybody likes Think and Grow Rich, and Think and Grow Rich was written 84 years ago.
Isn't that crazy?
Crazy.
Still selling.
Still a bestseller to this day.
Listen, if you want to become a published author and get yourself out into the world, I got my guy, Ash Cash, on the $1 Million Secrets podcast today. Listen, you guys know this podcast is all for digital course creators, digital marketers, online entrepreneurs, and I am bringing on the best of the best to share their $1 Million Secrets with you. So today we got Ash Cash. What's up, man? How's it going,
brother?
bro? How's it going,
man?
dude?
I'm doing well,
Listen,
man. Doing well.
I'm pumped to have you here, dude. The king of books. That's what I'm labeling you, man. The king of books.
I appreciate that. Yes.
Because I've worked, like, you guys don't know this, but I've worked with Ash for a little bit now, for probably about 2 years. Mm-hmm. And what this guy is teaching with books, like, dude, it's crazy. Yeah. What you're teaching people, like, within hours, they can have a book made.
100%.
Are you cool with talking about that? Like, sharing some gems today?
I'll give all the information. That's fine.
All right, let's do it. Because I think there's a misconception around books, like, outdated, right? Like, you think of books, you're thinking like, oh, it's old, but you would say like books are like one of the best marketing tools right now, right?
Yeah, number one marketing tool. I think that people don't realize there's a website called statista.com.
Say that one more time?
Statista.
Statista.
Yeah. So
never heard of that.
Statista, SCATISTA.
Just use Siri and it'll pull it
up. .com. And what they do is they take statistics, right? So they measure different things, right? And they measured book sales from 2004 to 2022. And over $1 trillion in book sales.
That's a lot of money.
$1 trillion with a T. And physical book sales too. So not like audio books, digital books, and physical book sales have happened, right? Last year alone, 2022, $743 million were made from physical books. What happens is, I think that people believe that just because the world is going digital, that everything else is going digital as well, where people don't realize that books give you a sense of community. It gives you a sense of connection with the author. It's an experience. So like me, like I still read physical books. Like it's part of my nighttime ritual, right? Jump in the shower after the day is done, and I need a physical book that I could read. I could touch the papers. I could highlight. And I don't think people realize that. And so I've been tooting the horn of everybody should be an author since 2009. That's been
2009. That's a long time, man.
Yeah,
so,
14 years.
Like we made a lot of money together. I've been in the background. Yes, I'm not forward facing, but we made you guys make a little bit of money. Maybe a few million. And so we made it like. But books is something that I'm really interested in. So you've been doing this from 2009. Yeah. Like, were you just born a bestseller, dude? Like, share the process of how you kind of got into the space.
Oddly enough, I was going to quit after my first book. So,
what was your first book about?
It was called Mind Right, Money Right, 10 Laws of Financial Freedom. And quick history lesson. I used to be a banker. So I was my last position in the bank, I was a CEO of a credit union. So I started at 19 years old. I was a teller at 19, did everything in banking from teller to personal banker, private banker, branch manager, was a CEO of a credit union. And I just got tired. So right around 2008, everybody knows what happened with the Great Recession. Banks were going under. But that was what was happening from the outside. From the inside, they were forcing us to, make our numbers, right? So they was trying to act as if it wasn't a recession and things weren't bad. And so it just got stressful. So I said, I don't want to do this anymore. And I started teaching financial education. And somebody just said, if you want to get more speaking engagements, you should write a book. And that was the only reason I wrote the book.
Just to get more speaking engagements.
Just to get more speaking engagements. And I didn't understand the book game when I first wrote my book. And so I did horrible. I didn't have my cup. I didn't have my face on it. It was a big number. It was just like the big number 10. And I did as much as I could to get the book out there. But then as I started to learn, right, trial and error,
right.
I didn't become a bestseller. So I re-released my first book 2 years later. Okay. And that was my first bestseller.
So what year you published it first?
2009.
2011, you republished it.
I republished it and then bestseller.
Okay.
Right? And one of the things I realized was I put my face on it. Right? At the time that I released the book, there was only Dave Ramsey and Susie Orman. There wasn't really right now we got everybody's a financial expert, right? Before, when I dropped my book, it was Susie Orman, Dave Ramsey.
Right.
That's it. And I said, you know what? If it's not broke, don't fix it. Let me see what they're doing. And I looked and I was like, every book they got, I don't care what it's about, it's their face on it.
So you just literally went and evaluated, I want to say competition, but the other people,
yep.
That's a gem in itself, man. How can you leverage what other people are already doing?
Listen,
what's working for other people?
Success leaves clues. That's just not a popular saying. It is an absolute fact. Stop trying to reinvent the wheel. If you want to be a millionaire, find a millionaire and follow what they do. You want to be a best-selling author, find a best-selling author and do what they do.
And that's what you did. So you went... relaunched the book, put your face on it. I'm sure you made other tweaks and stuff, you've seen after evaluating them.
Yep.
And so that's not your only bestseller, right?
5 of them.
5 since then.
5 bestsellers, over 200,000 books sold, all independently, never signed to a major.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask.
Nope.
So what's this? I know I'm asking a lot of questions.
No, you're good.
Because I don't know much about just publishing and stuff.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between, you said it's independent. What's the difference between independence and being with a publisher?
Publishing, right. So what happens is when you got like Simon & Schuster, you got these big, houses, they have relationships already.
Right.
And so if you publish a book with one of the big guys, which is 4 of them, if you publish a book with one of the big guys, you automatically are going to sell books, right? Why? Because they have a marketing machine already behind you. So they're going to market the book to all of the radio stations, television stations, all the things that they have connections with. They're also going to get the physical books in bookstores. And so people are going to have access. So all of the book buyers who walk into a Barnes & Nobles or a Walmart or a Target, they're automatically going to see your book because it's there. And then they also are, they have a celebrity roster and, things of that nature. When you publish a book independently, you don't have any of that.
Right.
And so you're really on your own. It's almost like music. It's like signing to Def Jam compared to just being an independent artist.
Right. Major difference.
Right. It's a major difference because the label serves as the bank and they have the connection.
So why'd you choose to do independent then?
Because number one, to get a publisher to publish your book is a lot. Meaning that you can't go to them directly, number one. You have to find a literary agent. The literary agent, you have to convince the literary agent that this is a great idea. The literary agent is the one that has the relationship with the book company. So they're gonna or the book publisher, they're gonna take that and introduce it to that agency. If they like it, your book is not going to come out immediately. If they like it, they could shelve you 1 year, 2 years. Like it's a process to get stuff out. Success loves speed though. And so if AI is happening right now and I have to go through all these steps in order to get my book published, then by the time the book comes out, nobody cares about AI anymore, right? But then the other thing is it comes down to dollars and cents, right? If I go with a major publisher, because there's so many middle people involved, what I might get $1 off a book, $2 off of every book that's sold, or I could publish it myself and get $8 and get $9, right? And so I think of it this way: if I sell 100,000 books with a publisher and I'm getting $1 a book, that's $100,000. If I sell 100,000 books, or even if I don't sell 100,000 books, let's say I sell 20,000 books, and I get $8, that's
still more.
That's right. And so at the end of the day, it's like, I'm not gonna give all of my intellectual property to a company and they get the bulk of the money made from it. I rather just keep it and do it myself. But here's the funny thing. Today, after I've written 14 books, after I have 5 bestsellers, would I sign with a major publisher? The answer is yes. Why? Because guess what? I have a body of work that I own already.
Okay.
And if the publisher says, hey, Ash, I got this great idea. I want you to write this book, and we're going to make sure it's everywhere. Now,
it's only going to help you.
Exactly. Okay. Because now, if I sell 100,000 books, now that's 100,000 new people who never heard of me, who are now buying this book, who are going to love it and say, what other books do he have?
What other products?
Exactly.
I love that. I love it. So you heard David Goggins, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so you hear his story about his book?
Yeah.
So his book, if you guys haven't checked it out, I think there's a speech about it somewhere, but he was saying he got offered a book, publishing deal. I can't remember what it was, but he was like doing the math, like, man, this ain't gonna make sense. Mm-hmm. He released that. You know how much he made off that book, man? Did you hear about how much he made?
No.
He made, it was something crazy, like, don't get me wrong on this, but it may be like 15 million or something like that.
Yeah.
And he self-published it he said no to the publisher. So I think that's cool. So you learned a lot after that first one. You released it.
Yeah.
You ultimately got a bestseller. So how'd you get a bestseller, man? I know it wasn't just putting your face on the book.
Yeah, no.
What was that?
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of marketing that goes into becoming a bestseller. So like, let's talk like recently, I published a book called Abundance is Your Birthright.
What's that mean? I see that on your shirt, man.
Yeah, so I want everybody to understand, regardless of what you believe in, Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, whatever you believe in, if you believe in a higher power, I need you to know that your higher power has said that abundance is your birthright, meaning that you do not have to work hard. You just have to work smart. You just have to be who you were intended to be on this earth, and everything will flow. Most people are not living their best life because they are blocking their abundance. It's not that abundance is not available to them. It's just that they're being something opposite than what they're being told to be. And because of that, they're working so much harder and not getting the fruits of their labor. And so I wear this all the time as a reminder to people that it's your birthright. You know what I'm saying? So you got to think about like, a fish. If a fish is born, a fish doesn't have to search for the water.
Right.
Like they have an abundance of water. They have abundance of food that's waiting for them. The birds, like every creature that is born has an abundance of everything. And so this is just a reminder of it. And so I wrote a book called Abundance is Your Birthright, the 9 spiritual beliefs that can make you a millionaire, and the 9 false beliefs that are keeping you broke. And it's really about how to allow abundance into your life in real time. And that was a bestseller for me. And one of the ways I did it was really, number one, I leveraged my podcast. So I have a top 100 business podcast called Inside the Vault with Ash Cash. I leveraged my podcast. I got a billboard in Times Square.
Billboard in Times Square. Did that cost a lot of money?
It did, right? But it allowed me to. So I believe in my product so much that it allowed me. I made a lot more money than what that investment was, because now by putting a billboard, one of the biggest billboards in Times Square, it allowed hundreds of thousands of people, even maybe millions, I don't know, who never heard of me before in their lives, get access to who I am. And then now as they get into my space, now I'm able to use the book to lead them down my funnel and provide them other products and services, which ultimately is what has made me a millionaire, and how we've
Right.
made millions of dollars together, is really just kind of that promotion. So my podcast, going on other people's podcasts, right? Talking
Cross-collaboration.
about, right? So cross collaboration.
Like this.
Exactly like this. My billboard, social media, right? Using Reels and using TikTok,
Right.
using, the audiences and an email blast, and just really just kind of using also, what's happening in current events. And I think that's the key that people don't realize, is that they don't leverage current events enough as they're promoting their book. So I do a great job of doing that, and that's what makes people interested in my book. And not to mention, the title has to be awesome.
Right.
The cover has to be awesome. People, whoever your target market is, when they read the book, they have to know that that you're actually talking to them.
Gotcha. Nice. Yeah. And this is powerful, because everything you're saying is so true. Like, actually, one of our mutual friends, I won't say who it is, but we helped him a while back, and just seeing the numbers he sold just off social media. Like, we ran the numbers recently. I was like, dude, you realize you made this amount? It's like close to 6 figures, like 6 figures just through selling this ebook on social media.
Yeah.
And that's, like you said, not counting other products. What other products, like, would you match up with the book?
So I say there's 15, streams of income that you could create from books. I won't give you all 15 right now, but you got the physical book, you got audio book, you got the digital version of the book. Like you just said, ebooks. What people don't realize is that there's 2 different audiences, right? The person who will buy a physical book is not the same person that will buy an ebook, right? And I use this analogy really quick, right? So like, let's say I don't go to the store, right? If I need to buy something, I'm Amazon Prime,
Right.
I'm Instacarting, right? Like, I don't go to the store at all, right? Why? Because I want it now, right? I don't want to waste time. I think time is valuable for me. And so for me to get dressed, for me to get in my car, for me to drive to the store, for me to look around and find all these things, for me to take those things and put them in a cart, for me to take that cart and go to the register, for me to pay for the stuff, then take the bags and put them in my car, then drive to my house, then go take them out. Then, like, that's a lot of steps.
Yeah.
Or I could pull my phone out and go to Instacart. I could pick everything I want, hit send, and that's it.
Sent to you.
Somebody else does the work for me. They drop it in front of my house, and then I put it away. Right. Same thing with that's the difference between an ebook and a physical book. Physical book has all the stories, has all the research, it has everything. Right. And so a physical book is you going to the store. And some people like to still go to the store.
Right.
But the ebook is the person who says, you know what? I just want the answer. How do I lose 15 pounds in 15 days? Just give me the answer. Right.
So is your ebook content different than your physical book content?
It's a variation of it. So I didn't know that. I'm gonna give you a trick that I've done. I have a book called Mind Right, Money Right, 10 Laws of Financial Freedom. That book has 10 laws of financial freedom. So each chapter is about something else. I sell that book on Amazon. If you go to Amazon right now, that book is $10 on Amazon.
Okay.
All right. Well, every chapter I've created an ebook out of. And I sell each chapter for $17.
That's bars right there, man.
It's a big bar, right? So this one book that I sell on Amazon for $10 is now 10 ebooks that I sell for $170 because it's $17 per book.
Yeah.
And it's the same content. But what happens is, if I have a chapter on credit, guess what? I'm gonna do an ebook on credit. If I have a chapter on buying a house, I have an ebook on buying a house, right? And so in its totality, it's one book. But from an ebook perspective, it's different books. So we got physical book, ebook, got audio book, right? Think about all the people who drive Ubers, truck drivers, right? So audio book. You got live courses, right? People want to learn from
Right.
your information. So you got live courses. You got masterminds. You got live events. You got conferences. You got affiliate programs. You got joint ventures. You got
You just going off, man.
right. You got a lot of different ways, right? And when I look at, and this is why I say everybody should have a book, because what I look at a book as a sample, right?
It's like the gateway.
It's the gateway. You have everything that this person desires, but they don't know it yet. They don't know you yet. And so what you do is you write a book so you could like the funnels, right? A book is a top of the funnel.
Okay.
It's what allows a wide amount of people to, get your information to test you out. But then as the funnel gets narrower and narrower, that's when you start offering them the products. The good thing though about books is that as the funnel gets narrower and narrower, the information that you're selling and the transformation that you're selling costs more and more. Right. Okay. So I go from a $9.99 book to a $50,000 exclusive program that I'm helping people make money, but it's that disparity, right? Because I want to get you in here so you could know, right, that I have a product or service that could serve you, and then you get to choose at what level you want to interact with me.
I like that, man. That's cool. Yeah, I often give the example, you're in the middle of a big circle, right? How can we get people in your ecosystem, into your circle? Yeah. The book being that gateway. So that's really neat. So you got, how many books now would you say? 14 books. 14 books. Yep. Out of those, how many are bestsellers?
5 of them. 5 of them. And it's so technically 6, but 5 official. And the reason why I say technically 6, because when on my 40th birthday, I wrote a book called From the Block to the Bank. And it had 40 principles in it. And I did not put it on Amazon at first. I was only selling it on my website. And so I was selling it for $40. So it was like part of my marketing scheme. And I had sold thousands of books that would have qualified me as a bestseller. But because I didn't put it on Amazon and I didn't get the official #1 bestseller rank, I don't claim it. But it's 5. It's 5 bestsellers officially on Amazon, but 6 if you count From the Block to the Bank.
To have a successful book, let's say somebody launches a book, it doesn't become a bestseller. Does that mean their book failed?
Oh, absolutely not. No, I think that it's all about, number one, it's all about repurposing. It's all about doing the study. It's all about figuring out, like, why didn't it sell? What can you do to continue to make it sell, right? Do you rebrand it? Do you keep it the same and just add a different level of marketing to it? The truth of the matter is, my first book still sells to this day. I don't even look the same. Right? If you look at the cover, I'm obviously...
They'd be like, who's this guy?
They're like, who is this guy, right? Like, I don't even look the same. I didn't have a beard at the time. So, anybody who buys the book, I still sell a book that's 14 years old. Why? Because at the end of the day, the information is still good. The information is still valid. People still are getting results from the information. So, it's really about how can you make yourself attractive to the audience that needs your information? And once you make them attractive, they're going to find your product or service. And that's what I do. Every single day I'm on Instagram. Every day I'm on YouTube. Every day I'm on LinkedIn. Every day I'm on any social media platform. I'm being introduced to somebody brand new who have never heard of me before. And when they're going to do their research and they're going to find me, they're probably going to start with whatever piques their interest.
Right.
And they're not going to look at the date. They're not going to say, well, I like this book, but it was written 14 years ago. Right? Because everybody likes Think and Grow Rich, and Think and Grow Rich was written 84 years ago.
Isn't that crazy?
Crazy.
Still selling.
Still a bestseller to this day.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy.
Power of books.
Blows my mind, man. And I've learned a lot from you, man. I was telling you beforehand, I've learned so much about books I didn't even know about. I launched a book probably 3 years ago. Didn't sell that well, but I'm like, man, I need to implement these strategies. So one thing I've seen you at a mastermind teach recently is this concept of using AI to write your book.
Yeah, that's a game changer.
I want to dive into that for a second because AI is a big thing right now. Everybody's like, you guys know you've dumped into GPT, everything. So how do you use AI, and is that even legal?
Yeah. I think AI is the biggest thing that has happened, benefit actually that has happened for any independent book publisher, because the amount of time that it now takes for you to release a book is less than ever. The great thing about using AI and the legality of it is that if you're really the expert, you're not using AI to write your book. You're just using it to assist you to get stuff done faster, right? And what do I mean by that? And I think I did this on a podcast recently, where live on a podcast, I asked ChatGPT, give me 15 streams of income from a book. And ChatGPT gave me 15 streams of income, duplicated a few, like it didn't really give me everything. And then I read out my 15 streams of income, and it wasn't the same because ChatGPT is limited to the information that it knows. Right. So if it doesn't know, like if I'm the expert, it was my experience, my trial and error, and I become the expert, then ChatGPT doesn't know it. I have to tell it my information, and it's going to take my information and expound on it, make it better. But it's me still teaching.
Gotcha.
So
you gotta train it.
I gotta train it. So at the end of the day, what's the difference between me saying, I hire an assistant, and I said, you know what, I want to write a book about AI. And I know the way I use AI, and I tell the assistant, hey, I need you to go do some research and find out all of this information. I take the information that my assistant gives me back, and I edit it. I add my story into it, and then I release it. I hired the assistant. So whatever the assistant is giving me is my intellectual property. And so I own that property because I'm rephrasing it, I'm paraphrasing whatever, I'm putting it in my term. It's the same thing with AI. What people don't realize is that copyright laws have not changed, right? And so you cannot copyright a string of words. It's a body of work. And so what happens is that once I get the AI to do the research for me, I'm going to take that information. I'm going to add my flavor to it.
Gotcha.
I'm going to have AI edit it, right? But it's still my flavor. And then I can even actually still run it through a plagiarism system to make sure that none of that that AI has done exists anywhere else. And then once I copyright the whole body of work, I'm the owner of that copyright. So it's absolutely legal. And I've been literally helping people write books in 5 hours. I wrote a book called Book Rich, actually, how to make a fortune, writing a book. And it literally took me 5 hours to write the book and took me 5 days to publish it. So from beginning to end, 5 days.
That's crazy.
It was ready for somebody to buy.
What's the average length it takes somebody to write a book? Not using that.
Gotta be 8 months minimum.
I'm still working on a book.
Crazy.
That I started last year.
Exactly. 8 months minimum. I've seen people take a year, 2 years, 3 years. So, but at minimum, without using any technology, you're
that changes everything.
8 months.
That changes everything.
Changes the game.
And that gives you no excuse.
No excuse whatsoever. Like what are you waiting for?
Right.
Like literally, you have this idea in your head. You can give ChatGPT the idea, ask it for a title, and you choose the title. Ask it for the best subtitle, you choose the subtitle. Ask it for the outline. It gives you an outline. Based on that outline, you can ask it to expound. You could then dictate, right? There's another AI called Otter, Otter. Yep. You could dictate your portion inside of Otter. Otter takes your speech, turns it into the written form. You take that written form, you add it to what ChatGPT we just put together. You run it through and ask it to edit for you.
Crazy.
Book done. Book done.
Everybody watching, go rewind the past 2 minutes. Go rewind, watch and listen to the past 2 minutes again, because that alone is enough to get them off the ground, man.
100%. Like what I just gave you is enough for you to write a book. Like literally, as you're watching this podcast, you can literally do what I just said. And that's literally what, 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. And now you have a whole framework for your book. And now the rest of the hours is just you kind of feeding in and filling in the blanks, but still using AI. And again, like I said, in 5 hours, you can have the book.
Sheesh.
The problem though, is that once the book is done, how do you get the book out, right? And how do you make sure that the book that you're actually writing is good enough for people to buy? And that's what I do. That's what my secret sauce is. AI can't teach you that, right? My secret sauce is really taking all of my 14 years of experience and helping you write the right book the first time, right? Because there's a lot of people that got books out, but not a lot of people are selling. In fact, if you look at the statistics, the average author only sells 250 books in its entire lifetime.
That's high to me. I feel like it'd be lower, to be honest. Because like even just my experience, I launched a book a couple years back, and I was like, I didn't get any sales. Like, like, I got some free download. You know how people are teaching like, wait, what are your thoughts about that? You know, the big strategy, like people are like, I want to get bestseller.
Yeah.
And then I just want your honest feedback on it. There's this model where you make the book free for like 24 hours and you raise the price after everybody's downloaded to get bestseller. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that people miss the point. I think that people love announcements, and so they become bestsellers by doing that strategy just to run around and tell people that they're the best sellers, right? That's why I always tell people that it's important to pay for information, get a mentor, get a coach, find somebody who's done it, because it's almost like there's a I think what is it called, ellipses, the ... There's ellipses at the end, right? It's put your book free, sell a whole bunch of copies, become a bestseller ... Use the bestseller, do a press release showing that you have become a bestseller, so you could build momentum from becoming a bestseller. Reach out to television producers.
Nobody's talking about this.
Exactly. Reach out to radio people and say, hey, I am the author of this best-selling book, fill in the blank. I would love to come talk to your audience. Why? Because everybody wants to be first to be second. What does that mean? Is that a lot of people don't like to take chances on people. And so if you're a no-name author and you go to a radio station or you go to a television station and you say, hey, I want to promote my book on your station, they're going to say, who are you? Get out of my face, right? But if you go to them and say, hey, I'm a best-selling author, they're going to feel like they lost out. They're going to be like, oh my God, I never heard of this person. Where have I been?
Right.
And then now they're going to put you on their platform. Why? Because you were validated, right? The Amazon validated you as a #1 best-selling author.
So you're saying people stop, they get validated, but they never do anything
Exactly.
with it.
They get validated and they don't do nothing with it. They're like, oh yeah, I'm a, like my first time making 6 figures from a book, I didn't just start bragging and say, hey, y'all, I made 6 figures from a book. I said, yo, I made 6 figures from a book. I can help you too. And so now my results become my testimony to help other people get results. And so think about this flow. My first time making 6 figures as a book, I started to promote that I made 6 figures as a book from a book. It attracted other people who wanted me to teach them how to make 6 figures from a book. My first time helping somebody make 6 figures from a book, I didn't now just, be proud of that. I then started to brag and say, yo, not only did I do it, I helped somebody else do it. Now that became social proof that other people could do it. If I make $1 million, I'm saying, hey, I made $1 million. I can help other people. I help somebody else make it. Now it's social proof. So what I'm saying is that it's all about marketing.
Everything's marketing.
Everything is marketing. Like I don't like the victory does not go to the person that has the best product. It goes to the person that has the best marketing. Period. And if you have the best product and the best marketing, you will last forever. Right. Yeah, that's deep. And that's why I take pride, right? Like when it was a book era, I was around. When it was a magazine era, I was around. When it was the blog era, I was around. When it's a podcast era, I'm around. Right. And then now whatever it switched to, at some point, if people stop listening to podcasts and it's all holograms, guess what? I'm gonna be around. Why? Because when you have a quality information and you pair that up with great marketing, you're always going to have people who are willing to stand or sit at your feet and learn from you.
Love that, man. Man, we were talking about all this before, and I was giving an example. I was like, Prime energy drinks.
Yep.
I've never drank a thing of Prime in my life, but I know about it.
Exactly.
Everybody in the room knows about this right now.
100%.
Prime energy, I'm not into that stuff, but I know about it because of marketing.
Yeah.
Right? They're great at marketing.
It's funny because even the water, Liquid Death.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yo, at first I remember the first time I saw it, because I'm a big believer in the law of attraction and words have power. And I was at an event and I asked them for water and they gave me a can that looks like beer with a skull and it said Liquid Death. I said, what are you giving me? They said, you wanted water. I said, I'm not drinking that. Get that out of my face. I said, it's horrible, horrible, horrible. But in my mind, I said, it's the best marketing ever.
Yep.
It's the best marketing ever. And now, if you go to Amazon right now, I want to say they got like 50, 60,000 reviews. Like this, like they've sold millions and millions and millions of water. Of water.
Everybody has it.
Everybody has it because they called it liquid death.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Everything's more. So listen, there's tons more we could talk about with books, man. Like we could talk about a lot of things. I know you got a lot to offer about it. Where can people find you at, man? I know you have an event coming up. Yeah. So I want to plug the event because it's what, the 5 hour author challenge.
Yeah. Okay. So you could go to 5hourauthorchallenge.com, the number 5hourauthorchallenge.com, and tap in for 5 days, right? And so what we do is I'll teach you all of my methods. So everything I've learned for the last 14 years, every single day, I'm teaching you for 1 hour. I'm saying, hey, this is what you need to do for 1 hour. It comes with homework. It comes with all of the things that you need, that by Friday, you are officially an author. But not just any author. You're going to have a book, and you're going to understand the power of your cover. You're going to understand the power of your title, the power of your subtitle, the reason why you want to do things in a certain way. And every single day I give you instruction, and then I tell you how to make a lot of money from your book. And then, and we leverage AI, but I give you some prompts. I tell you how to leverage AI the right way. And really it's just my goal of, every year I want to make 1,000 new authors. So far this year, we're at 90. So we've created 90 new authors this year. And so I got some ways to go. But I know that once we get the momentum, we'll be able to create more authors. But I want to do my goal is 1,000 new authors every single year, and we're on there. So anybody want to connect, go to 5hourauthorchallenge.com, tap in. I'll give you the whole game, nothing but the game, to help you shine.
Yeah, definitely do that, man. I think they're going to be surprised how much information they get.
100%.
I mean, this was just 30, 40 minutes. Yeah. Imagine what's going to happen when you spend 5 hours.
Sheesh. And that, I always say this, though, right? I always say that I love the 5-day challenge model because it separates those who know and those who don't know. Right. You could do a webinar. I love webinars. But it's an hour and a half.
Anybody can fake an hour.
Anybody can fake an hour, right? You could regurgitate quotes and stuff that you've learned. Anybody can fake an hour. Nobody, you can't fake 5 days, right? Because guess what? Also, most people are able to get VIP, right? And so if you get VIP, platinum, or titanium, you actually get access to ask me questions.
So it's more than 5 hours.
So it's more than 5 hours, right? And so I can't fake. If you have a question about a book and how to publish it or how to make, I can't fake that. Right, if you're asking it me directly, and that's why I love it. Spend 5 days. It's also a way to just test the person out to see. All right, 5 days. I got this book. Do I really want to continue to work with this person? Right? Does this person have information that could continue to further help me? And in 5 days, I get to know whether that person can help me or not.
I love it, man. That's awesome. We'll go tap in with that. Where else can they find you on social media, man?
Yeah, so you could go to my website, iamashcash.com. Everything is there.
Your books.
My books are there. My community is there. My podcast is there. Everything is there, iamashcash.com. But you can also follow me on all social media platforms at iamashcash.
Love it. And go, what I encourage you guys to do, not only tap into all of the resources you have, they're amazing, but actually go and do what he did back in 2009, 2010, Facts. 2011. See what he's doing that's working.
Facts.
I don't know if you're cool with that, but I would encourage them to go on the site, see what the books look like. Go to social media, see how he's promoting the book. But dude,
Google me, even that too, because I love that you said that, because this is one thing that I didn't say. Like if you Google, think about your most famous influencer right now. Google them and see what shows up. Now Google me and see what comes up. You're gonna see that on my page, I'm so official. you're like, oh my God, it has, like, if you Google Ash Cash or if you Google Ash Exantis, everything pops up. You see that my books, you see my cover, you see I have a Google
press releases
panel,
and
everything, right? Because I am an author, and the world at large respects authors more than they respect influencers. So even that influencer who has 1 million followers can't get in the rooms that I could get into because I'm solidified. If you Google that person, all you're gonna see is their Instagram with 1 million followers.
Right.
But you Google me, there's all of these different things. That's the power of books.
Let's go. Well, thanks, man. Thanks for coming on here, dude. This
My
is
brother.
dope, man.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it. Hey, guys, listen, we shoot shows like this every single week for you, and tap in with everything Ash has going on. It's going to be super valuable, help you get your book up in hours versus months and years. But listen, we do this $1 Million Secret, so do us a favor, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you want more, we have Apple Podcasts, we have Google Podcasts, we're everywhere, so go check it out. We have many guests teaching you the digital marketing secrets that not only have helped me scale my business, but scaled people like Ash, scaled so many other digital businesses. And listen, we have many other resources. So tap in with Ash in the link, the description below. We'll see you guys right here next week. $1 Million Secrets. God bless you guys. Thanks for being here. See you soon.